Good morning. Please be seated. What a spectacularly beautiful day. As I was coming over there, I said, you know, one of the privileges of being governor is you get to pick your own walkout music. And I said, I want music that's got sunshine in it, because this is a day that the sun is shining on New York City. And what a statement this place makes, because it's long overdue, my friends, long overdue. And I want to acknowledge some individuals who are part of the incredible team that have made this happen. And I'm going to start with Rick Cotton, who is the magic maker. Every vision that I have, he has been executing, and before my time, he has been there behind the most significant project. Executive Director of the Port Authority, Kevin O'Toole, who's right there, is our chairperson. We had a great talk, not just about airports, but chatting about some football game that just happened. We don't really want to talk about that, Kevin. It's not how you're going to win my support over. But there's always next year, always next year. So also our partners, Frank Scremin, the CEO of LaGuardia Gateway Partners, who've been with us since the very beginning. I want to thank Frank. And of course, the people who are building our future literally day by day, and that is Gary LaBarbera, a commissioner, but also the president of New York City Building Trades, and Kathy Wild, who makes sure that the business community is up to speed and engaged and making things happen, the president and CEO of the Partnership for New York City. I want to thank her as well. But then I have amazing elected leaders at my side. That's how we get all these projects done. And I want to thank someone we are working very closely with in the trenches together to protect New Yorkers and make sure that we execute an incredible vision for this entire community. And I want to thank our great mayor, Eric Adams, for joining us here today. And New York City Council Speaker Adrian Adams, I love saying that, Madam Speaker. Great to have you here, and your representation of this borough has been incredible. And speaking of leaders of boroughs, I really love this guy. We've had a lot of time in diners and in churches and a lot of places together. Our amazing borough president, Donovan Richards, Queensborough president. So before I get started, I have to give you a little storm update. Despite what you see right now, I am from a place far, far away called Buffalo, and I know a little bit about handling snow, so I've been getting my boots ready, my shovel, and I'm ready for whatever comes our way. But we are literally preparing right now. I want to thank Catherine Garcia, my head of state operations, who knows how to do this, and also Jackie Bray, who's my commissioner of emergency services, who are literally engaging with places like Suffolk County, where we're forecasting some snow, but also it could be starting to hit here in New York City, which can either be fun for everybody or it can be a little challenging. So I'm going to opt on the side of let's embrace the snow, let's celebrate. We are a northeastern state, we love it, and if we get it 1 to 2 inches per hour on Saturday, possibly 3 inches an hour, it's kind of a lot, but we can handle it, and we're getting ready. I just want everyone to know that we are taking preparations right now as we speak, despite this beautiful weather. So, you know, just a short time ago, I had a beautiful celebration like this at JFK. We talked about projects that have been completed, but also leaning hard into new infrastructure opportunities like Terminal 1. So in addition to individuals who make this happen, they know how to do more than walk and chew gum. They do the other airport in tandem at the same time, because we are all very impatient here. I don't believe in sequencing projects that need to be done. They need to be done at the same time, and I'm so proud of what we've done, transforming JFK into one of the greatest airports in the world, and also just saying, what about LaGuardia? And I do want to thank someone who helped put a little spotlight on this back in 2014. I believe it was around February 5th or 6th. And I wish I had a blindfold, but I'm going to let this serve its purpose. We're going to invite President Biden here. And when he takes off the blindfold and sees this, he'll know that we listened, we engaged, and we made sure that, yes, this is the best place in the world. And those are not just my words. Let's go to an independent source who judges airports around the globe. UNESCO just awarded this airport the 2021 Prix Versailles Global Architecture and Design Award for the new best airport in the world. So we have literally gone from worst to best, and I love it. I love it. So we are so excited to be here today, and I love airports. I know every inch of the airports. Having been Lieutenant Governor, I traveled 370,000 miles, much of it by car, some of it by plane, literally every week. This was my commute. And so I got to know the hard-working individuals who work at the gates and greet you, the baggage handlers, the staff, the restaurant workers, the airline workers, everybody who's part of this ecosystem. I want to give them a shout out because in the darkest days of the pandemic, when everybody was scared and stayed home, these workers showed up day after day. And I want to give them a round of applause for what they did. And yes, this is just a statement of who we are. We know we're the best. We know we're the best. But sometimes you need the places to speak that loudly as well, and this place shouts it from the mountaintops. And that is why I'm so proud as we talk about a new vision, a new era for New York. And I announced this literally just a week ago in my budget and 2 weeks before that in my State of the State. We have to imagine a greater, better New York than ever before. That's how we lift not just our spirits, but lift ourselves out of this dark time known as the pandemic. And we are almost there, my friends. I watch the numbers morning, noon, and night. We're getting to a much better place, and there will come a time when these are just mementos. You show your grandkids and tell them about it. But until then, we're going to keep doing what has kept us safe and smart, and I want to thank all New Yorkers for doing that. But I want them to know that the horizon is right out there, and I can see it clearly. So we have to keep building. We have to keep the jobs coming. We have to keep giving people hope that we have not been knocked back, that we're jumping forward into the future with a great vision. And so part of this, transforming our airports, a place, yes, it's important for people to see from around the world when they come here for that magnificent vacation that starts right here in New York City. That's great. It's also about creating a sense of pride for the people who live here, people who work here. And that's why this was so important to us, to make sure that this project took care of the neighboring community as well. And this is where partners with our local elected officials made this happen. And that was not the way it was done in the past. In the past, people just came in and built, and they used highways that divided neighborhoods, and we're fixing that in the Bronx and Buffalo and Syracuse. We're making up for a lot of mistakes of the past, and also reminding everyone that there are communities that are affected by these projects, and they deserve a seat at the table. I want to thank all of our partners, the nonprofits, who helped make this happen as well. And that's why we have over $2 billion that went to MWBEs from this project, more than $800 million in contracts to Queens residents and businesses, and over the 600 jobs created, 400 of them have gone to Queens residents. That's what progress looks like. That's when a community feels, yes, we are no longer ignored, we're part of the process. That's how you rethink major projects like these. You involve the communities. And so I am so proud of what these individuals have done, how proud of what we're about to announce today. And today, in case you didn't get the memo, we're here to celebrate the opening. The construction is completed on Terminal B. Let's give that a round of applause. This is Terminal B. And this is a $4 billion transformation, $4 billion. And that is going to bring people here. They're going to walk through here and say, yes, this place matters, but it's also about connecting people easier. And I know a lot about this, having spent a lot of time running to catch my plane late at night and making it easier to have beautiful amenities and state-of-the-art facilities and restaurants, and just making people feel that this place is so significant. 1.35 million square feet. That's a lot of square feet. That's a lot of square feet, but every bit of it has been planned and designed in a very thoughtful way, and that's what you're seeing today here as well. 35 gates, 3,000 car parking garage, with new sheltered, and the snow's coming, you want sheltered pickup for taxis, and incredible, stunning art. I'm so looking forward to seeing the art and the modern amenities. We're also announcing the completion of LaGuardia Terminal B's Western Sky Bridge. Let's get that Sky Bridge opened up. That was the final piece of the puzzle that allows us now to say that we are done, and that'll connect the arrivals and departures hall directly to the Western Concourse gates. So you no longer have to walk through the old Central Terminal building to get to your gate. So it's just making connections that make sense. So everything was built in an incredible way. All these improvements have been done in a way that we are so proud of. And so what's next? Onward to Terminal C. and that's where I spent most of my time. They had a direct flight to Buffalo. I flew in at 6 o'clock in the morning. I flew out at 11 o'clock many nights, and so that was my commute. And so Terminal C is going to be magnificent. We're looking forward to doing that. What time, Rick? This spring? Spring, okay. Spring is March 21st, okay? Just saying. I mean, do you want to say closer to summer? Or, okay, but you know how impatient I am. And if I would get this, okay, all right. Springish. So my team knows I love to promote projects, but I also promote deadlines. And I'm very much holding everyone accountable because you already know this. I love to get things done early, on budget, my favorite words, on time, on budget, and that's what we've accomplished here as well. So to all of you, onward and upward to many more transformative projects for the people who live here. Places like Penn Station, we're going to be so proud of that, just as we're proud of this. We're going to finish up JFK. We have a lot of connections to make, the 2nd Avenue subway, East Side Access, I mean, it goes on and on and on. So I'll be gathering many more times. I have my scissors sharpened for ribbons all over the city and the state, and I'm very excited, and I'm just so energized by what we've accomplished here. This is a beautiful visual reminder that New Yorkers are ingenious, they'll never be kept down, and we believe that the future lies very brightly with the sun shining in on us today, just right ahead, and we are going to get there together. So thank you, everyone. And with that, I'd like to bring up our mayor to say a few words and thank him for his leadership, his engagement. Mayor Adams.
Thank you. Amazing. Good stuff. We love seeing the governor in this part of the city because she always comes with a checkbook. So we love having you here. Both the speaker and the borough president enjoys that. I just want to take a moment as our city mourns the loss of 2 officers. Today is a wake for one, the funeral tomorrow. Both these officers, we sit under the tree of public safety because they watered that tree with their blood. We should never forget that. And I want to commend the partnership that the governor announced yesterday as we start this pursuit to destroy the iron pipeline of guns that are flowing into our city. And a clear example of that, Governor, happened yesterday. The Port Authority police identifying a man carrying a gun on a bus at the Port Authority terminal, making the arrest. Many of these guns are coming through the Greyhound, and that's why we're talking about doing spot checks there, so important. But also the college student who partnered and sold 73 guns. 73 guns. A combination of a young man from the Bronx and Tennessee, bringing those guns into our communities. We don't manufacture guns, automatic weapons, AR-15s. They don't come from the factories in our city, yet they're finding their way on our streets, shooting 11-month-old babies and taking the life of a 22-year-old young police officer. And so I want to commend the New York City Police Department and Port Authority. We're doing our job. It's time for the federal government and our partners and all over this country to help us keep New Yorkers safe. And so as we stand here today and talk about this amazing opportunity, it was only a few years ago that President Biden came here as the VP and looked at the stain on our economy of what we called an airport and understood that we were better than this. Here, New York City is the economic ecosystem and the engine for this entire country. The way goes New York goes America. The way goes America goes the globe. So this was a global initiative to put this city and country back in the right place. And we came together and we did it with the partnerships, with the unions, and the vision. I fly out of here and I am just truly impressed with how well we were able to accomplish this important feat. This is more than just a place where people take off and land. This is our front door to our city. And people judge you based on how you come in and out of airports. If your first welcoming sign is not a signature of the greatness of your city, then it sends the wrong message that carries us all the way through. And we did it. And as we did the terminals, reaching B and now moving on to C, it just shows what we could accomplish during the most difficult times. And we could do it together. And I say this over and over again, and Kathy, you hear me talk about it, when not too far from here, our center of trade was attacked and we watched those two buildings collapse. Many of us think about 9/11, September 11, 2001, and we reflect on those days. And I do too. But let me tell you the day I remember the most. I remember 9/12. We got up, we built, we taught, we opened our shops and sold our goods. When New York City showed America our resiliency, the entire country understood that there's nothing that can keep us down. And we're here again. COVID is not terrorism, but it's terror. It took our family members. It closed stores and shops. 40% of businesses we saw. 30% of our office buildings are occupied. Many people don't want to go back to work. But today, when we open Terminal B, we are saying New York City is taking flight, and we're not going to remain on the ground. We're going to bring back our economy, and we're going to bring back the resiliency of the people of this city. Don't ever bet against New York City. You will lose. You will lose. And so, Governor, I thank you for ensuring that we reach this goal, and I thank all of the partners who are part of this as we move forward. I'm excited about the continuation of this great project. We went from the last to the first. That says a lot about who we are. I say it all the time when I borrow from the owner of Snapple soft drink. We're going to do well because we're made up of the best stuff on earth. We're New Yorkers.
Please welcome to the podium, Rick Cotton.
Good morning. This is truly a great day. But before I start talking about this terminal and the airport project, I do want to join you, Mr. Mayor, in mourning the two police officers. We are all in the debt of the people who keep us safe and secure. Let me begin by thanking Governor Hochul, Mayor Adams, Speaker Adams, Borough President Donovan Richards. We could not do what we do without the support of our elected officials. And so I'm going to talk a lot about the terminal, but underneath it, this day would not have occurred without the support of our elected leaders, and your coming here today to join us really, truly means a lot. I also want to recognize the commissioners of the Port Authority who are here, Chairman O'Toole, Vice Chairman Jeff Linford, Gary LaBarbera, and Leisha Eve. And again, without their support, we would not be here today. But we are celebrating an event that many not so long ago would have said was impossible, namely a truly world-class terminal at where? LaGuardia Airport. The completion of Terminal B's second concourse and the completion of the sky bridge that you see behind me marked the completion of Terminal B, which is really the completion of a $4 billion project. And it means that every single traveler coming to Terminal B will now have a world-class experience going from curb to gate or from gate to curb, old gates mixed with new, temporary walkways, a thing of the past. From the point of view of travelers at Terminal B, New York at long last has the world-class gateway that a world-class city and state deserve. And no one, I believe, would have believed when this project began that a blue ribbon panel of international experts in the art and in the world of art and architecture assembled by the United Nations agency UNESCO would have named LaGuardia's Terminal B as the best new airport in the world. And just for emphasis, not the best new airport in the Northeast, not the best new airport east of the Mississippi, not the best new airport in the United States, but the best new airport in the world. And as the mayor and the governor have noted, in the 5 years since groundbreaking, LaGuardia has gone from worst to best, and it is now certifiably and indisputably world-class. I do want to thank especially our private partners here at Terminal B for sharing our vision of a world-class airport and working with us to deliver. To LaGuardia Gateway Partners, its CEO, Frank Scremin, its board members, George Casey of Vantage, Jane Garvey of Meridium, Marcus Erickson of Skanska. Also want to thank Carl Galeotto and his colleagues at HOK Architects, and Richard Kennedy and his colleagues at Skanska Walsh. And I also want to thank the men and women of organized labor and the union construction workers who actually built this terminal. Without them, we would not be here today, obviously. And hopefully, as you walked in today, you saw firsthand just how spectacular this project is and how far it has come since the third world label was pinned by then Vice President Biden on LaGuardia back in 2014. Today, the new LaGuardia, iconic public art created by celebrated artists from New York, from Germany, from France, from Denmark, adorn what is now a light-filled and welcoming terminal, along with a one-of-a-kind water feature, this is actually my favorite, that projects a New York-themed laser light show on a floor-to-ceiling cascade of water. There is no other airport that has that. And I would venture to say, with a certain amount of confidence, that travelers will no longer dread coming from LaGuardia. They actually may look forward to it. As has been noted, if you look to the east, you'll see Delta Airlines' new Terminal C, almost complete, coming soon. Coming soon, Madam Governor. Today, we complete the $4 billion Terminal B, the $4 billion Terminal C this spring, a total LaGuardia project of $8 billion on time and on budget. It's important to note that this $8 billion investment in the whole new LaGuardia is 2/3 financed by our private partners. And that means that we can leverage Port Authority scarce public dollars by working in a public-private partnership with the private sector. We all know that Governor Hochul, Mayor Adams, their colleagues are focused on rebuilding our economy following the devastating impact of COVID. We want the whole new world-class LaGuardia Airport to be the welcoming gateway to New York City, to the New York, New Jersey, excuse me, region that will bring visitors to the region, to the city, to the state, visitors who will fill our hotels, restaurants, and attractions, generating more jobs. But there's a key and very important final point I want to make. The new LaGuardia Airport has been built on a more equitable basis than any project previously. We have been focused on a record-setting initiative to include participation by minority and women-owned business enterprises. Construction of the new LaGuardia has to date resulted, the governor noted this, in a historic $2 billion, billion with a B, awarded to minority and women-owned businesses, and that is more than any other project in the history of the state of New York. And we have awarded more than $800 million in contracts to businesses based here in Queens. And that does not happen by accident. That represents a commitment to seek 30% participation in terms of our spend with minority and women-owned businesses. And we haven't been focused just on the minority and women-owned businesses. We've been focused and equally committed to creating opportunities, including training for local employment at LaGuardia. We've had partnerships with the Council for Airport Opportunity, and we partnered with local outreach community organization partners, Neighborhood Housing Services and Elm Corps. To date, we have placed more than 600 local residents in jobs at LaGuardia, and we will continue working as we proceed with this project and our other projects to work with Elm Corps, with NHS, to work with Governor Hochul, with Mayor Adams, with Speaker Adams, and with Borough President Richards to continue to offer opportunities and benefits to the communities that surround our airports. And as we finish LaGuardia, $8 billion, now we are also working in parallel, Governor, on a $12 to $15 billion investment in public-private partnerships at JFK Airport. Governor Hochul joined us for two major events just last month at JFK. She announced the Port Authority's new agreement with respect to a new multi-billion-dollar Terminal 1 project, and she led the groundbreaking, shovels in the ground, workers on site, jobs of the major project to expand and renovate Terminal 4. And at JFK, we are equally committed to creating minority and women-owned business opportunities, contracts for local businesses, and job opportunities for local New York City workers. And we have, to benefit us and assure we don't lose focus, a Community Advisory Council co-chaired by the Borough President, and he is a magnificent help to assure that we don't lose our focus on this. We will continue to focus on all of our activities so that equity is a major part of our execution. But today is LaGuardia's day, and a wonderful day it is. Here's to the whole new LaGuardia. Here's to the completion of our world-class Terminal B from worst to first. This has been a wonderful project, and we look forward to the Terminal C dedication in the next couple of months. So I've talked a lot about the importance of partnerships and getting big projects like LaGuardia done, but no partnership has been more important to me or more important in actually getting things done at the Port Authority than the partnership that the chairman of the board and I have formed at the Port Authority. With that, our chair, Kevin O'Toole, I welcome you to the podium.
Thank you, Rick. First of all, Governor, welcome. I want to thank you very much for the collaboration, working with your staff. This is all possible because of the various governments, state, city, and the Port Authority, local, all working together. I will tell you, as the chair for the last 4.5 years, it's the first time I've seen a mayor of New York City and a governor in the same room. And it's welcome. Let me just say, and Rick can say, commissioners and on, but here's the reality of this. For the last 4.5 years, the engineer, Rick Cotton, he's been up here day and night. He gets frequent flyer miles. He comes here literally. He checks every detail. We owe a debt of gratitude to the executive director, one of a kind, transformational leader, Rick Cotton. And he hates when I say that. And Governor, we hear what you're saying about projects. We have $37 billion in projects lined up in capital. We want to work with you and work on the next capital for the next 10 years after that, so we're not going to wait. And Gary, I'm sure you're going to work with the governor on that one. Looking forward to it. Mayor, heard very carefully what you said about the shedding of the blood. And we all should pay respects. And after I leave here, I'm going to Patrick Cathedral to pay my respects to Officer Rivera, for those of us that really appreciate the sacrifice of the men and women. I was at a diner yesterday, Mayor, in a place called Cedar Grove, New Jersey, not in New York City for those people who are around here. And I was sitting with New York City Councilman Annabelle Ramos. and a friend, Victor Herlinsky. And your name came up, and they said, we believe in Mayor Adams. And all the folks on the other side of Hudson, Mayor, we all believe in you. And that's the great faith we have. But as you said, so New York City goes, so this region goes, so this nation goes. So we have great faith in you, and we pledge our support to you, Mayor Adams. Whatever it takes, we will be there with you, and we support you 100%. Now, if there's an emergency here today, we have a special guest who will lead us. Speaker Adams, is that fair to say? It's fair. Now, Speaker Adams, is it fair to say that your daughter gives a vote of approval for this transformative building here? So you should know that Speaker Adams has been trained in many things, and I will not talk about, but she is cross-trained at airports, which has been ample training for you as a Speaker. We look forward to working with you, Speaker. This is as a former legislator, assembly member, senator. Appreciate very the hard work that you do, and we at the Port Authority want to work very closely with you. Thank you very much for all that you do. Last thank you I want to give. Port Authority's been around for 100 years. This is what we do. This has been a project for 6 years. This is what we do. It's what the Port Authority employees do with their partners. Thank you very much, with our partners. The 8,000 employees, they do this every single day. They do these airports, they do tunnels, they do bridges. And I know we're talking about LaGuardia, we're talking about JFK. It's $30 billion in spend. And there's a place called Newark, Governor. We're also working on Newark Airport under the Port Authority, $30 billion. And by the end of this year, we're going to have 3 spanking, brand new airports, world-class airports, because of the will and the determination of our Port Authority employees, and we want to thank them. Everybody here, round of applause to the Port Authority employees who makes it happen. So this is a great day, and I'll close by saying thank you very much. It's an honor to be here. It's really this collaboration, local, city, county, state. It's amazing. There's not enough of this in this nation. To see this collaboration, I'm hoping the rest of the nation's paying attention. Thank you very much, and thank you. And Rick, job well done as always.
Please welcome to the podium, Frank Scremin.
Thank you, Governor Hochul, Mayor Adams, Rick Cotton, Kevin O'Toole, for your kind words and passion around this project. My name is Frank Scremin, the new CEO of LaGuardia Gateway Partners, the developer and operator of Terminal B, and I'm also an executive with Vantage Airport Group. We're thrilled to join you all here today to mark the opening of our second pedestrian sky bridge, another exciting milestone in the historic effort to redevelop LaGuardia Airport's Terminal B. With the construction now over 90% complete, it's more important than ever to take time to recognize the collective efforts of so many to restore the shine to this celebrated airport that has proudly welcomed visitors to Queens and New York City since 1939. I want to thank Governor Hochul for your leadership, support, and most importantly for making LaGuardia your favorite airport. Throughout the project, you were always present, engaged, and never minded going to the roof to survey the progress of construction. To Executive Director Rick Cotton and the entire team at the Port Authority, thank you for your support through this entire process. Today's construction milestone is especially noteworthy, as it's the last portion of the building and public areas to open to passengers. However, it's also important to note that one of the most focal parts of our plan to build the new Terminal B included a commitment to the Port Authority and to our airline partners that construction would not impact ongoing operations. Our dual pedestrian sky bridges, the second of which is opening today, are what allowed the terminal to remain fully operational throughout the entire construction process. Their unique design, connecting the 2 island concourses, created the opportunity to build over the existing terminal. Beyond this advantage, they deliver an astounding 2 additional miles of taxiway, which allows for better aircraft movements and reduced congestion to dramatically transform the experience of arriving and departing from Terminal B. As you may know, we opened the state-of-the-art Arrivals and Departures Hall in June of 2020, coinciding with the early months of the pandemic. Throughout our meticulous planning, we could not have envisioned opening during such a historic moment. However, our team at LaGuardia Gateway Partners and our colleagues are resilient, and we got the job done. Since then, we've never stopped innovating and adapting to the various challenges the moment has presented. Our commitment to sustainability, community engagement, and supplier diversity is reflected in both Terminal B's recent designation as the first airport project to earn LEED version 4 gold by the U.S. Green Building Council, and the awarding of $992 million in commitments to more than 300 minority and women-owned businesses during the terminal design and construction. All of this has happened thanks to the countless partners here celebrating with us today. I want to especially thank the Queens community and local elected officials for your support, for your understanding of the inconveniences of construction, and for welcoming us with open arms at so many of your community meetings. We hope that you're proud of the terminal in your backyard, and we're always hiring, especially from our local Queens community. Additionally, LGP is grateful to our equity investors, and we're so pleased to see many familiar faces representing them here with us today. A warm welcome to George Casey, Chair and CEO of Vantage Airport Group. Magnus Eriksson, Executive Vice President of Skanska Asset Management and current Chair of the LGP Board of Directors. Jane Garvey, Global Chair from Meridian. And Eric Lane, Vice President from JLC Infrastructure. I'd like to further recognize our design build partners. Thank you to the Skanska Walsh team, including HOK and WSP, for design and engineering, and the thousands of men and women in the construction trades who worked tirelessly to deliver this modern gateway to New York City. Thank you to our airline partners, American, Air Canada, Southwest, United, and JetBlue, for believing in us and working collaboratively with us to focus on operational excellence every day through the construction program. And to my valued colleagues here at LaGuardia Gateway Partners, this is a monumental project, and I could not be prouder of what we've accomplished together. As construction is wrapping up, we're shifting our focus to the daily operation of this world-class facility with our terminal management partner, Vantage Airport Group. What drives us as an organization is making every journey count for our guests from start to finish, and we know that our work does not end with construction. A remarkable building such as this is nothing without a passionate and professional team of people that bring it to life. We look forward to welcoming all to the new Terminal B and wowing them in the process. I want to thank our next two speakers for joining us today, New York City Council Speaker Adrian Adams and Queensborough President Donovan Richards. Please join me in giving them a warm welcome. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to Speaker Adrian Adams.
Thank you very much, and good morning, everyone. You know, I too join with the City of New York and our mayor for grieving the loss of officers Rivera and Mora. And it deeply, deeply affects every New Yorker that we will be attending funerals tomorrow and Wednesday. Our hearts are very heavy with their loss. Today, it is my great honor to join Governor Kathy Hochul, Mayor Eric Adams, Port Authority Executive Director Rick Cotton, and Chair Kevin O'Toole, LaGuardia Gateway Partners, Queensborough President Donovan Richards, and so many colleagues in government this morning to celebrate yet another milestone in the redevelopment of LaGuardia Airport's beautiful, beautiful Terminal B. You know, we've come a very, very long way. Nearly 8 years ago, when President Biden, yes, I'm going to mention him again. I'm not going to put the mask over my face, but when President Biden came through these walls of our LaGuardia Airport, and indeed he did notice the issue that was New York's issue. But President Biden, just look at us now. Thank you, thank you, thank you to the tremendous investments made by all of our partners who are here today. The redevelopment of Terminal B is a major turning point in the transformation of LaGuardia Airport into a world-class facility that New Yorkers can be proud of. It is also a crucial step forward to rebuilding one of New York's most important gateways. When travelers stop and they step foot off their plane and into our city, this is what we want them to see: a beautiful, modern, and accessible airport. For those of you that don't know, I take very personal pride in the development and reconstruction of LaGuardia Airport. I was born just a few minutes from here in the place that they used to call Elmhurst General Hospital. I was raised just a few steps down the road in East Elmhurst. Oh, well. But as a child, I spent the first 4 years of my life living in East Elmhurst. My grandmother would walk my sister and myself from our two-family home in 23rd Avenue, right down the road. She'd walk us right here to LaGuardia Airport. And those were the moments that are most memorable to me as an adult. Thinking about my grandmother walking us down the street to watch the airplanes take off and land, just like that one over there. And as a little girl in East Elmhurst, just the feeling that I would get, it was thrilling, it was joyful, and it was amazing for me to watch that. What was most amazing, though, was being in the company of my grandmother, who took such pride in walking her two little granddaughters right here to the airport. You see, she was born in South Carolina. And I don't think that the days of sharecropping in South Carolina meant nearly enough as it did walking her two small granddaughters right here to LaGuardia Airport. And so, as Chair O'Toole alluded to in his remarks, I will share with you that I studied psychology at Spelman College, and I intended to teach psychology on the collegiate level to freshmen. But what I didn't do when I graduated from Spelman College was teach psychology to college freshmen on the collegiate level. What I did was become a flight attendant. And so I was a flight attendant for 5 years, my first 5 years out of college. And what I did was, I did a lot of this mid-cabin. And to be perfectly honest with you, I believe that I can still evacuate a 727 and a 737 in just a few minutes and save your lives. But now, with the new Terminal B, we are completely reimagining how we build airports for the 21st century. This project represents one of the largest public-private partnerships in American history, and certainly the largest when it comes to U.S. aviation. With strategic investments in our local economy and local communities, the new Terminal B has become a shining symbol of New York's potential for strong economic recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic. I'm also deeply impressed that throughout the redevelopment of the new LaGuardia Airport, operations were never disrupted for millions of passengers. This is a credit to the hard work and dedication of not just everyone at the Port Authority, but also to the workers who take care of travelers and the facilities right here at this airport. So as we stand here in this historic moment, I want to express my gratitude once again to Governor Hochul for her commitment to modernizing New York's critical infrastructure. I also want to thank the contractors, subcontractors, union construction workers, and every single person who worked tirelessly through the pandemic to deliver this extraordinary new terminal. The City Council looks forward to continuing our collaborative partnership with our governor, with our mayor, with the leadership of the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, LaGuardia Gateway Partners, our colleagues in government, and the residents of this neighborhood, my beloved East Elmhurst included, to transform our new transportation infrastructure as we continue to move our beloved New York forward. With that, I'd like to bring to the podium my Queensborough president and yours, Donovan Richards, Jr.
Well, let me start with saying, what doesn't Adrian Adams do? She sings, she's like a flight attendant, a pilot. Let me start by joining with my colleagues and, of course, the City of New York and our nation in mourning both the deaths of Officers Rivera and Mora. Our heart is heavy, but we stand with them. We stand with the NYPD. It's very important to always point out, even through differences, we want our officers to get home safe, and we want our communities to be safe. It's a great morning to be here at LaGuardia Airport. It's a great day to be in Queens, and just a reminder, I am the Queensborough president. I know there was a little controversy in the Bronx yesterday, but I've ceded that ground back. It's a great day for the millions of people here who fly out of LaGuardia every year as well. And it's a great day because we're not only simply building back, but we are building back better. And that is thanks to our governor, Governor Hochul. It's always great to have you in the world's borough. It's great because I know every time I see you, you're bringing your checkbook. To Adams, I don't mean Mayor Adams, but Speaker Adams, and I think she'll agree with me, Mr. Mayor, there is a Snapple fact that you forgot to mention, that Queens is the best borough in the city of New York. But thank you for your commitment. Thank you for having me today as we celebrate the completion of this gorgeous passenger space at the new Terminal B at LaGuardia Airport. And thank you, Governor Hochul, once again for your commitment to fixing transportation problems that impact families, whether it's air travel or public transportation. Just last week, I had the privilege being across the border in that other borough called Brooklyn to talk about the innovative Interborough Express, which will connect Queens and Brooklyn, reducing travel times and connecting families in each borough to new job opportunities. And that's thanks to our governor. Let's give her a round of applause. And now we're here in the home stretch of the redevelopment of LaGuardia Airport, a gateway to the region and a linchpin of our economy, as we give the families of Queens and New York City the world-class airport that they deserve. To a true partner and friend of Queens, Rick Cotton, thank you for the amazing work you and the team at the Port Authority have done here at LaGuardia Airport. I have to, of course, shout out Hirsch as well. And Rick, sometimes you often say that I'm the reason your hair turned gray. Well, he's the reason I don't have any hair at all. But when we stand here in this gorgeous new airport, I think it's all worth it. As you know, the aviation industry supports tens of thousands of jobs, and not just any jobs. I think Gary LaBarbera would agree with me. Good paying union jobs which generate billions of dollars in economic activity right here in Queens. And although so many industries have been hit hard by the COVID-19 pandemic, those who work in and rely on our airports have been uniquely impacted. And that impact has rippled throughout the entire borough of Queens. But our Queens comeback is well underway, and our airports are bringing back several thousands of passengers each and every day. To LaGuardia's workers, our 32 BJ brothers and sisters, you deserve nothing but the best, most efficient workspace. To the travelers flying to and from our city, I don't think LaGuardia is going to be the butt of any more jokes. This is an airport you'll be excited to fly to. Like all our partners here today, I'm happy to celebrate the completion of this new Western Pedestrian Sky Bridge, marking the completion of the construction of Terminal B's passenger space. This work was completed on time and on budget, and we have a sparkling new facility filled with fantastic amenities to show it. Its completion will ensure that LaGuardia is well positioned to handle the increase in airline traffic that has come with the recovery of the airline industry. It will also ensure that LaGuardia Airport no longer is described, with some justification I might add, as being the airport befitting a third world country, as President Biden infamously said 8 years. But from one president to another president, I think it's safe to say that it's a new day at LaGuardia Airport. Just look around. So much has changed since then. In fact, Terminal B has already won awards for its architecture. It's even being dubbed the best new airport in the world by experts. And you know what? Queens deserves nothing less. Don't get me wrong, I'm always happy when Queens wins awards and trophies. You can clap to that. Now all we need, as I talk to Steve Cohen, is the Mets to win that World Series trophy down the street. In all seriousness, we can talk all day about how beautiful Terminal B is, but the biggest victory here has been the Port Authority's commitment to uplifting the surrounding community and its dedication to MWBE contracting. We're talking $2 billion in contracts for MWBEs, that billion with a B. And for Queens-based businesses, we're talking $775 million in contracts. In one of the biggest economic development projects in Queens history, we leveled the playing field and ensured that all our participating businesses, regardless of ownership, were able to reap the benefits. LaGuardia wasn't built in a vacuum. It was built in partnership with the community, as Speaker Adams alluded to, the Elmhurst community, the folks most impacted by this airport were able to be a part of this project, and I want to commend you. And I could not be more grateful once again to the governor, the Port Authority, and all those who made that happen. What makes this such an exciting time for Queens is that even though the LaGuardia redevelopment project is expected to generate $10 billion in economic activity and $2.4 billion in wages, that's only half of what our borough can expect going forward. Down in Southeast Queens, we're hard at work getting JFK's airport's extensive redevelopment off the ground. Let me quickly shout out the JFK Redevelopment Community Advisory Council, which I co-chair along with Congressman Gregory Meeks, which has been working with the Port Authority to maximize the community benefits related to JFK's redevelopment, just as we've done here at LaGuardia. Governor, I can't wait for all those groundbreakings and ribbon cuttings down in Southeast Queens too. So as we strive to put COVID-19 in the rearview mirror, there is much to look forward to as the community-friendly redevelopment of our airport communities. I look forward to celebrating additional milestones and welcoming in an influx of travelers to the greatest borough and the greatest city in the world. Thanks again to everyone who made this possible. Thank you also to LaGuardia Gateway Partners, the joint venture selected by the Port Authority to build and operate Terminal B. And finally, thank you all to all of my fellow elected officials, community leaders, and other stakeholders who've made this project possible. Let's all continue to work together to ensure that a brighter future for LaGuardia Airport and for the community, borough, and city it serves is happening. Thank you all, and now it gives me great pleasure, and I follow directions, so thank Jordan Bieberman. There you go, give Jordan Bieberman a round of applause. I will now ask everybody to come up to cut the ribbon.
If you are joining us here in person, please remain seated during the ribbon cutting. Thank you.